Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's your Twitter reactions to Liverpool 1, Arsenal 1, or, the other way around, being the away team and all that. For anyone watching this in months to come, and they're going, this doesn't feel like the right game. A bit of a mixed bag, but I think obviously largely a real sense of disappointment coming through the comments here. I'll get through as many as I can. Paul Alexander says, bizarre how we are top of the league in November and I'm not satisfied by our performances. I completely agree, mate. What a weird world we live in where right now, at time of filming, Liverpool are top of the Premier League. Top of the Premier League. That is a fact. Okay, caveated, of course, by the team that we all think is going to win the league, still has a game to play, and they're playing Southampton, who are crap. So it's basically like them being top of the league. But the simple fact of the matter is, they're not. Liverpool haven't played great. We haven't hit the heights that we think, and let's be honest, know this side can hit. And yet here we are, top of the table in November. It's weird. It's really, really weird. And, I think we look back, I think we rose-tinted glasses a bit on last season. We weren't great at the start. In fact, we were significantly worse this time last year in terms of points, in terms of goals scored, in terms of goals conceded. And yet, somehow we look back on last season because we can look back on last season as a whole and we don't have the whole of this season to look back on and judge this period. Hopefully, in May or this time next year, we're looking back on this season and we remember this like Liverpool were absolutely amazing because we were top of the league, but we don't have the ability to do that now. All we have is that feeling in our gut that somehow everything's going to fall apart. Musso, 77, Henderson would have made a difference today. Fabinho was awful. I think awful's a tad strong. I don't think he was very good. But you're dead right on the Henderson thing. For as much as criticism as Henderson gets, and I'm not going to dive into that now because I think it's ludicrous. He's a very, very tardy, very, very, very good, very capable footballer and the club captain. Henderson would have been much better than Fabinho. And I think it's easy to get carried away. I did. I got carried away with Fabinho. I was going, well, there you go. That's Henderson done. That's the last we'll see of Jordan Henderson because we got Fabinho now. He can do everything. And he was just a bit slow, a little bit off the pace, just not quick enough to move the ball, which is so vital, particularly away from home. Like at home, we're given the ball and we're tasked with breaking teams down. That game was played at a breakneck speed. Arsenal won it, played fast. And in order to get past Arsenal, we needed to be quick. And Fabinho just wasn't sharp enough today. That'll come, and hopefully he'll learn massive lessons about that because that's a pretty steep learning curve. And I think he's a phenomenal footballer in prospect, and I think very much he is the future of our midfield. But yeah, not a great game for Fabinho today. Fletcher says, sometimes I think Klopp forgets he has 3 subs he can use. Awful decision to leave Fabinho on. Fletcher, I presume you're watching the video. I don't know if you are, but I'm interested to know people's suggestions on this. Who do you take him off for? I made a comment in the team news early on before the game, like maybe if Lovren wasn't injured, it might have been a tactical decision to put Matip on the bench because you can put him in midfield if you need to. If you have a major injury and you need to put someone in there, or you can put whatever. As I said, Lovren was injured. Matip was on the bench as a centre half, but we were Lallana was the only midfielder we had on the bench. I think I'm right in saying that. So you may be left with a situation where what you're gonna shift someone out the back 4. You're gonna put someone else. You put Fabinho to the right. But look, we changed it in game. We moved him away from the 6. To try and alleviate that, but we were just left a man short there, unfortunately, and not having Keita and not having Henderson did limit us. We had attacking midfield options. You could have put Shaqiri on, but given that Arsenal were overrunning us at times, did you want to lose? I wouldn't have been comfortable. So I understand the decision, and past that, again, you make the decisions. Another substitutions, maybe Sturridge on, but who are you taking off for Daniel Sturridge at that point? I think sometimes we could use more subs, but I think the game was poised enough that I don't think any more substitutions, for me, would have made a massive difference in that. Peter Lucan getting a little worried by our performances in big games and tired of getting the wrong decisions every game. Yeah, big performances in the big games. So Napoli away was a big game and our performance was poor. I thought our performance against Chelsea away was pretty good. I thought our performance against Man City was actually really, really good. Probably slightly tainted by the fact that we normally beat them. So contextually, I think contextually in the season, I thought it was a good performance. Spurs, I thought we were really good in the Spurs game, and I think we were a little subpar today, if I'm honest. but a little subpar when, if Liverpool had won that, if Mane's goal goes in and, you know, we take another one of our good chances in that game, and plus, you know, the Milner goal, say, for the sake of it, with pure Liverpool glasses on, by the way, Liverpool could have won that game 2-0 and we'd have been going, not great, but we've won it solidly. So, fine margins, I think, in big games. Tanmay to the Vady. Fabinho isn't ready yet. Said that even when he played fantastically against lower quality opposition, but he isn't ready. Positioning, pace of the game and strength-wise, he needs time. Gini plus Milner had to cover tons more ground because of him. If only we got that goal, we scored. Yeah, exactly. And the Fabinho stuff, again, think about Oxlade-Chamberlain being introduced. Oxlade-Chamberlain was only just starting to put in good performances for Liverpool now, this time last season. He got his first goal against Maribor away, the equivalent of like a year and a week ago. And he was still a little bit in and out of the side. You know, he's playing. There's no way Fabinho plays that game if Jordan Henderson's fit, and that's just the nature of how it is. But good players get better for playing games, and you learn more from not having a good game than you do from having a good game. So hopefully he'll be much better for it. Raymond Albrechtsen, Trent and Fabinho subpar, Van Dijk and Gomez beast. Yeah, I agree with all that, to be honest. Virgil van Dijk is absolutely incredible, isn't he? And I think maybe one misplaced pass from Gomez, which most people would have seen because it was covered up by a picture of some people in the crowd hugging. So we might get away with that one. One or two little moments from Gomez that not great, but they're a fantastic centre-back pairing, aren't they? But it's interesting, if Lovren had been fit, would Lovren have started? Would Gomez have started at right back? And would we have been a much more solid outfit? On the bounce of looking at that, I think maybe that's a possibility. Usman Ali, honestly, Trent needs to be benched for a while. Happens to all young players, was shocking, as was Fabinho, not ready. Yeah, the Trent thing, and this is why I think Gomez has been getting games a bit more recently. Two things, because Lovren's a very, very, very good centre-half. And Gomez is a very good right back, and Trent is young and he does need to be protected. You can't play a 20-year-old, a 19 just turned 20-year-old right back for 50, 60 games a season. And I mean, you absolutely can. If you want to ruin him, we need to use him sparingly. And by all accounts, there's a bit of stuff going on in his personal life as well that might have been a moment of distraction. I do suspect, again, he wouldn't have played if Lovren was fit, but that's Dejan Lovren all over, really, isn't it? Brucey, fine lines, cost titles, and that's us out the race. Maybe. It feels a little early to say that. Look, I think we all live in this fear. I think Man City are perfectly capable of winning every game of football between now and the end of the season, but they probably won't. But then again, Liverpool probably won't either. So, I don't know. I understand. But this is the closest Liverpool have been to being a genuine title contending team since 13-14, certainly. It's a handful of times in the Premier League era. We can't beat ourselves up over dropping 2 points away to Arsenal. You can't be heartbroken to be right now top, but ultimately when City win 2 points off top, you can't afford to get heartbroken at that situation. It's a bloody long season. Let's look at it from this perspective. Let's say Liverpool just got to go to the Etihad and beat them. Imagine if you said, I mean, it won't pan out like this, by the way, but what this means is we've just got to go and beat them at the Etihad to win the title, if that's the case. Now, that's a difficult ask, but if you told me that it would only take a win against Manchester City to win the title, just have that opportunity, we'd have all taken that before the season started to bridge a 20-odd point gap between us and City from last season. So look, don't let it bother you too much, and there's no need for fatalism at this point, I don't think. Richard Van Davies, annoying to concede late, but the way the game was, it will do. It's November the 3rd, and Liverpool are undefeated. Crazy state, absolutely, mate. And Sean Buckley says, a shame not to get the win, but you've got to be pleased with the point. Keeps the momentum going, and we were so close to a victory. Exactly, mate. Disappointing. Ultimately disappointing, ultimately a bit annoying, but you know, the season will be defined by how Liverpool play from here on in, ultimately, and probably more importantly, how Man City play. Man City are a cut above absolutely everything in this league on their day. However, we've seen them drop points to Wolves already. It stands within conceivable reality that they may drop points again between now and the end of the season. Liverpool have just got to get back into the swing of winning games, but staying undefeated is a very important thing. Losing a game of football is an absolute gut punch. This is just a stumble. The trick is not to go, arse over tit and hit the deck. You've got to stumble, you've got to find your footing, and you've got to keep going again, and that's what Liverpool got to do for the rest of this season. Loads to play for, loads of football to be played, and loads of great football to be seen as a Red. But yeah, a bit disappointing today, but hopefully more and better in the weeks to come. Nice one.